Guys, for those that weren't here for the flag salute earlier, but we already did it. So okay, before we move on to the regular scheduled agenda, I would like to ask, is there any particular consent agenda topics that council would like to hold out for regular discussion? Start with Councilor Zadi. No, Councilor Steiner.
I don't have any.
I do not. Beat me to it. Councilor Michelle. Okay, then we'll keep consent agenda as is. Okay, with that, we're going to kick it off with a presentation for accreditation. Do we have Mr. Hayes here? I don't.
He's online.
Yes, there he is.
Hello, can you hear me okay?
We can hear you just fine. So with that, Mr. Hayes, I will hand this over to you for this agenda topic.
Outstanding. Good evening, counselors and members of the community. My name is Scott Hayes, and I am the Executive Director for the Northwest Accreditation Alliance. I appreciate the opportunity to address the council and present the Hubbard Police Department with their third award of accreditation under the leadership of Chief Don Prezi. Law enforcement is experiencing a changing society with increased demands for our police accountability and transparency. As in our past, our profession must face these challenges and work with our communities to address their concerns. Accreditation is one step towards building community trust and the legitimacy of our profession. The Northwest Accreditation Alliance was formed under the direction of the Oregon Association of Chiefs of Police, the Oregon State Sheriff's Association, and the Association of Public Safety Communications Officials. And we provide accreditation services for 115 law enforcement and communication centers in Oregon. Accreditation goals are straightforward. They are to support the continued improvement of law enforcement services, to establish best practice through professional standards, to promote agency accountability and transparency, and to enhance operational management. To become accredited, the Hubbard Police Department had to adhere to 110 law enforcement standards, comprised generally in the form of policies and procedures and adherence to Oregon Revised Statute, Oregon Administrative Rules, City Policy, and Department Public Safety and Standards training requirements. Our standards are established through best practice nationally and through changes in federal and Oregon law. In addition to each of our standards, the agency must also demonstrate proof of compliance, ensuring that it follows established policies and current best practice. Reaccreditation then occurs every 3 years. This is really a monumental step for any agency to be evaluated by an outside independent organization and have its policies and procedures scrutinized. I'm aware that several staff members were involved in the process, but I'd still like to acknowledge especially Molly Schwartz, the accreditation manager, who worked diligently to prepare the agency for review and for the assessment. I cannot see Chief Prezi, but if he was there on behalf of and Chief Prezi and the City Council, on behalf of the Northwest Accreditation Alliance and its 24-member board of directors, I would like to congratulate you all on receiving your third award of accreditation. And if you have any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer them.
Any questions from council? If not, congratulations again to our police department for their accreditation. Come a long ways in 8.5 years. That's what I'm going to say. A long ways. And seeing this accreditation constantly coming back in means we're doing the right thing. So Chief Prezi, thank you for continuing it. Mr. Hayes, I think that's great. Thank you very much for taking the time to dial in and present.
You're more than welcome. You have a good evening, sir.
Certainly will. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, now on to the mundane task of a public hearing. We're going to do 3 of these, so please bear in mind, I'm assuming we'll do each one A, B, and C as we go through. So with that, we're going to start off with the supplemental budget fiscal year 2024-2025. For those on the agenda, that's going to be looking at the resolution 812205, a resolution that will approve the supplemental budget for the fiscal year. With that, though, we first need to go through a few things. One, I'm going to go ahead and open a public hearing for the supplemental budget 2024 to 2025. The time is 6:35 p.m. With it now being open, I'm going to hand it over for a presentation by our budget officer for questions and discussion.
All right, thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council. This supplemental 4 budget is to include the appropriation for 2 grants that were received since the last supplemental. CIS for software security, a new firewall has been purchased with those funds. And then also a grant from Business Oregon for pre-design work associated with the wastewater infrastructure upgrades. Additionally, there was a cleanup item originally budgeted was pass-through payments in the ARPA funds, which we need to remove those as the contracts have expired and the city has met their obligations under those contracts. The budget is being moved to capital outlay for the water system upgrade. And that concludes the summary of that supplemental.
Okay, with that, is there any questions from city council on these changes? I'm just looking for head nods at this point, just kind of speed it along. Okay, if there's nothing from city council, I'm going to ask the public, is there any comments or questions for this supplemental change? Which would be to our other budget committee member, actually. All right. With that, I'm going to go ahead and close the public hearing on the supplemental budget 2024-2025, and I'm going to call for a motion to adopt resolution number 812-2025.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, we have I was going to call for the motion.
I'll make a motion that we pass the resolution. We're trying to find the number. It's
It's
1202-2025.
no 812-2025.
812-2025.
Yes.
Sorry.
Okay, we have a motion.
Second the motion.
We have the second. Okay, with that, all those in favor of passing the supplemental budget for fiscal year 2024-2025, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, say nay. Okay, and that one will be cleared. Next one is going to be a resolution on the shared revenue. This will be resolution number 806-2025, a resolution certifying that the city of Hubbard provides our 4 municipal services. So with that, on the shared state shared revenue, I'm going to go ahead and open a public hearing for a supplemental budget 2024-2025 at 6:37. With that, we'll move on to the presentation again by the budget officers for Q&A and discussion.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council. We're getting that PowerPoint set up shortly. So I'll walk through the presentation. That's why we're doing the PowerPoint, because it'll cue it up when you need to.
In bigger numbers, I can see from a distance.
Yeah, we'll do 2.
So many numbers.
Okay, thank you. We had a great budget committee discussion leading up to the budget committee approving the proposed budget. And I will move through this presentation quickly. So the budget committee approved the proposed budget for fiscal year 26 without changes. This included carrying over $66,000 in the reserve fund for City Hall upgrades and a $1,500 donation for the Hop Festival. There were 2 changes made to the budget following the approval by the Budget Committee. The approved budget included $132,814 in the street construction fund to account for local fuel tax revenue that would have been earned in fiscal year 26 if the measure was approved by the voters. The voters did not approve the tax, and that has been removed from the approved budget. There was also a correction in a transfer in totaling $9,662 in the street fund that should have been removed prior to the proposed budget being presented. That transfer was reduced and reductions in other funds were made to accommodate that. So, this will begin the public hearing for the state shared revenues. The city is eligible to receive state shared revenues as we provide qualified services. However, the state shared revenue has been declining steadily over the last 3 years and is projected to continue to decline. In fiscal year 26, our projected revenues reflect a 2% decline from this current year. And this is where I need a motion made.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 806-2025 and 807-2025, state shared revenue for fiscal year 2025-26.
I'll second that.
Right around the screen. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, say nay. Okay, those two motions or resolutions pass.
Okay, so we need to open another public hearing
Yeah, hold on.
for the budget.
So with that, I'm gonna go ahead and actually, we never closed the other public hearing or ask for public comment, but no comment here. So we're gonna go ahead and close the prior state shared revenue meeting. We closed it at 6:40 before we called for a motion at 6:41. So there you go. Okay, with that, budget for fiscal year 2025, I'm gonna go ahead and open a public hearing for the supplemental budget 2024-25 at 6:41. I'm gonna hand this back over to the budget officer.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. The city is presenting an approved budget of $14,623,056 and is balanced and in compliance with budget law. Personal services total $2.5 million, materials and services total $1.2 million, and capital outlay is approximately $7 million. There is no debt service in this budget as all debt service has been paid in previous fiscal year. There are interfund transfers of $221,000 and contingency reserved of $3.1 million. There's an unappropriated fund balance and reserve for future expenditures totaling $618,000. That is a reduction from previous years as we are moving more money into contingencies to have access to those funds if needed. And with that, I'll request a motion.
Before we move on to that, though, I'm gonna ask if the public has any comments or questions. She has none. All right, there's no one else online. Is there any questions or concerns coming from council? All right, if not, I'm gonna go ahead and close the public hearing of the supplemental budget at 6:43. I'm gonna go ahead and make a motion to approve resolution 805-2025 for adopting the budget, making appropriations, imposing property tax levy of 3.9772 per 1,000 of assessed value, and categorizing property taxes for fiscal year 2025-26.
I make a second.
We have a motion, we have a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries, or resolution carries. 9772. I'd like to see who's got.
Gonna get down to this.
Yeah.
Right?
It matters, I guess, when it rolls up.
$10,000.
It's amusing from when I was first on council, the total budget was just a little over $3 million.
Wow. Because we've got a lot of capital projects. Okay, with that, we are now done with public hearings, if I'm not mistaken, Administrator Wade.
That's correct. Thank you.
Wonderful, let's move on. Do we have Chief Carmen online? I don't see him, so we're just gonna move right through that. Banner design presentation, I don't see anyone from North Marion being here, but I have seen the design that was reviewed last time. If you don't see it, I have marks on here. I would like to, I like what we've got going forward. I really want to see these printed up, but I do have some requests for the North Marion Art District students to do. And Mrs. Bailey, if she has an opportunity to. One, on the design that was approved, we're gonna have issues with the printing with the kind of town buildings that are put in here. So I'd like to have those removed as well as the sidewalk to make it just a green space with some trees and the highway. It will simplify the printing as well as kind of clean up the banner so it's not quite as busy. That would be my ask, and if there's any concern from council.
Can we make the highway the width? of
With
the
a little bit
sidewalk?
bigger?
Yeah,
No,
I think that would look a little bit better.
Why, our own isn't that wide.
Well, four lanes too. Yeah.
I have no problems if they extend the road to be the width of the current sidewalk to the road. Does that
Yeah,
make sense?
yeah.
Bigger way, okay. And then again, I like what they were trying to do with the buildings here, but it's doesn't fit. I wouldn't know what street that easement is, but at the end of the day, the printer came back also and said that they were unable to get a very clean print if we have those in there. So the idea is just to remove it, put some trees and grass there.
This may be a small thing, but the Route 99 is a interstate highway sign. It's a state highway. I don't know if that matters to anybody.
It's a good thing if we can catch it now. Someone's gonna tell us later, you
Change it
guys
to
couldn't
state
even
highway.
get the interstate
And
sign,
it's,
right?
and it's just black and white.
Highways thing.
Okay, so those are my recommended changes to include the state route, actually be a state route sign, not interstate. Expand the road over to remove the sidewalk and take the buildings out, add some trees or grass. Do we have consensus or any other things that? Council
Here's, we're gonna keep the welcome to Hubbard sign, right?
Good, I guess, keep the walk from the Hubbard sign, that's fine.
I like that.
Yeah.
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 Could even make it a little bit larger than if you're moving this building.
Let's not confuse it too much, but yeah, I agree with you. So let's see what the art students come back with. At the end of the day, it simplifies printing, truly simplifies the design of it, and
How soon do we have to have this ready?
it won't be ready probably until the students come back. I'm assuming.
Yeah, that's fun.
TBD, I don't know, Administrator, wait, when we,
Hot Fest coming up soon and we're going up for the Hot Fest, right?
no, they've got the Hot Fest banners up for that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
After that.
yeah, it would be after.
Okay.
So in our timeline, probably sometime in 2027. Okay, total jest.
Well,
When-
we do have, fall banners that we can put up while we're
Getting
waiting
these,
for
okay.
this final design.
These will be wonderful when they're there. You know, it's long-term thinking,
Okay.
but thank you. I do know that the honors program for the high school art will not be there next year. So how they're gonna do the art class will be a club that I understand.
Oh,
So I was doing a club will end up picking this up.
And I think the artist was a senior, wasn't she?
Yeah. Same thing happened with our city flag too. We're
Yeah.
all seniors. They all move on and get married and change their names.
Does happen.
So is there any concerns before I move on? We're giving consensus and direction back to Administrator Wade on what to do with the map. But any other corrections or changes? Okay, I don't mean to be driving us forward, but next one, appearances of interested citizens. No one's online, so let's all stare uncomfortably at Mrs. Button. Okay.
Thank you for coming.
Yes,
Yeah,
I
thank
appreciate you constantly showing up. Okay, next, agenda number 7, request to initiate legislative amendment to the Hubbard Development Code, FEMA, NFIP, ESA, PICM. I'm gonna try to say that compliance. I'm gonna hand this over to Administrator Wade.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Staff has shared information regarding the new FEMA requirements related to the National Marine Fisheries Services 2016 Biological Opinion related to Protection of Endangered Species Act, listed species and their habitats in floodplain areas. Very well done. Staff has received proposed model language that provides guidance and ensures compliance with FEMA from the city attorney. And we are ready to present the language to the Planning Commission for consideration. Staff is requesting that council initiate a legislative amendment to the Hubbard Development Code so that staff may begin the process of the Planning Commission.
So with that, general discussion among city council, I'll just go around with questions you might have, and we'll start off on this side, since I'm always starting before councilors. Councilor Pichelle, any questions you might have on this?
No, I don't have any questions about it.
Okay, Councilor Gottlieb?
Okay, so this have to do with our discharge water, or is this something different? What's it?
No, so this is actually the floodplain area, and the only area that we have any floodplain is around Mill Creek. And so this is associated with any new development, or construction activity that could occur in that floodplain area. There's certain requirements that have to be met in order to ensure that that habitat remains stable. Right now, we're defaulting to a permit by permit basis, which is very expensive for developers to comply with. And the model rule gives us flexibility, but yet still
All right, that's answered my question. Thank you.
complies.
Councilor Steiner?
I have no questions.
Councilor Zach?
No, Counselor Yeah, my answer, I just.
Wonderful. So with that, I'm just gonna go ahead and make a motion that we authorize the initiation of the legislative amendment to the Hubbard Development Code and direct staff to complete the next steps.
I second that.
We have a motion, we have a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Well, that was unanimous. We'll just carry it right from there. Thank you all. With that, let's move on. Discuss dispatch services and radio replacement. Again, hand this over to Administrator Wade.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. On February 11th, 2025, at the City Council meeting, the City Council directed staff to look at other radio and dispatch options. Staff has conducted a little bit of pre-research and contacted 3 dispatch providers. Clackamas County Communication, they have identified that they do not have capacity to add Hubbard Donald PD. Willamette Valley Communication Center provided a cost estimate based on a call volume from the city of Independence, which is approximately twice the size of Hubbard and Donald area, resulting in a cost estimate that does not accurately reflect the needs or scale for the Hubbard Donald area. Newcom, which is operated in the Newburgh Police Department, provided a quote that is slightly below the current rate that Metcom charges us. Additionally, the city of Hubbard is not participating in the Marion County project, and Metcom is not moving forward with their radio project. So staff needs to identify another option to replace existing radios. The radios are not reliable and create a safety issue for officers when out in the field, and the dispatcher cannot understand or copy what the officer is saying. Staff recommends that City Council provide direction on the following. Authorize staff to pursue negotiations with Newcom, discuss transition with Metcom, and get detailed cost estimates for both dispatch services and radios for council's consideration. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
I just want to point out, this is another area that the city is looking for cost savings, significant cost savings, moving from Netcom to a partnership with Newcom. Interesting, Newcom, Netcom. At first I was reading the typo. We do have to eventually replace radios anyhow, whether we stay with Metcom or go with a new dispatch service. My initial lessons, or at least what I've learned, is there is significant cost savings for the city if we do pursue moving forward. Of course, that means no interruption in emergency services, et cetera. It's just an opportunity for us to switch on who exactly we're going with. So I don't have any concern on it, at least from my side. With that, let's go around, Councilor Michelle.
Well, after reading this extensive report twice, actually, to really get a grasp of it, it seems like going to Newcom is the right way to go. Would it be inappropriate to ask Chief Parisi to comment on his opinion? Is that okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I appreciate that. Yeah, I feel the same as well in terms of the transition to Newcom versus where we're at Metcom. Newcom is, what I'm experiencing is they're part of a really robust, tried and true radio system over there that's been in place for quite a few years. It's much more superior to what we have now. And it's really truly a great partnership with Newcom, to where they'll be supporting us and taking us on as well, I think. So I think it all in all is a great opportunity.
Okay, Councilor Young.
No questions at this time?
Councilor Steiner.
I know just from doing the ride along and hearing firsthand the difficulty of communication and hearing one of the backup officers having to literally ask to I'll just call you on my cell phone. I think that this is a very critical thing that we do need to start pursuing. I would like to see, because we've been paying in for the radio program through Metcom, I'd love to see that money come back to go towards it. But yeah, I appreciate the research and time that you put into this, and I really am excited to see us make a move that'll be better cost-wise and equipment-wise. So.
Councilor Zani.
No, I don't have any questions. Thank you.
Okay, so with this, Administrator White, would it be fine for me just to say that I make a motion that we move along with staff recommendations on the, or as stated, or do you want me to read the entire thing?
No, I'm fine with these saying as stated.
Okay, so with that, I'd like to make a motion that we authorize, city council authorize city staff to continue discussions with Newcom as stated by the recommendations from Administrator Wade.
I'll second.
We have a motion, we have a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, say nay. Carries unanimously. Thank you. By the way, thank you for the due diligence and the proactive approach on that as well. You're not waiting for something to happen or go bad. You're proactively out there seeking ways that we can save money and improve services. With that, mayor and or council presentations on this one real quick, I do have a quick update. So after or immediately after this meeting here, Administrator Wade, Chief Parisi, and myself will be dialing into the Aurora City Council meeting, where we will be discussing their request of what it would take for the Hubbard Donald Police Department to provide contractual services to provide policing for Aurora. What would be discussed there, just so you are aware, is the requirement that we would have to have a full-time employee brought on board, that the employee costs would have to be bared by the city of Aurora, et cetera, et cetera. We have no formal contract in place. This is a proposal, kind of an update. Depending on what that city council decides to move forward with, we'll actually bring that discussion back here for city council to have a full debate and discussion. We're not asking for any approval at this point in time, nor are we trying to approve this interagency agreement. Just an FYI. So with that, is there any other council members updates? Councilor Zani, we'll start with you.
No.
Councilor Spanier.
I have no updates.
No update about the hop festival, the excitement behind it, the banners around.
Okay.
Well, there you go. I got to say something.
I know we've been slow to get the date out, even though it's always the third Saturday in July, but it will be July 19th. The Hubbard Hop Festival is in full swing. I'm on the board of the Hubbard Hop Festival, which is where I speak from. We're really excited. We've got, I think, more vendors this year. We're gonna have some cool food choices. The whole event's gonna be a lot of fun. We're working on a lot of last minute details right now. But I do want to specifically thank the city and Public Works for getting those banners up along 3rd Street because they look amazing. I know I at least enjoy seeing them. But no, the city this year specifically, the entire city has really gone out of their way to like come on board and sponsor the event. So
Awesome.
it's going to be a really good event and really fun year. So hopefully everybody can make it July 19th to the Hubbard Hop Festival. But as far as city councilor hat, I don't have any updates.
I would say I have asked Administrator Wade to reach out to the Hop Festival to see if we can have a booth actually set up for the city to be there. The request there would be there's an opportunity for counselors to be able to not just be in the parade, but actually sit in the booth, interact with individuals. I'm not saying all day, but a chance also for us to put content such as what we're going to be presenting at the town hall available for people to look at actually while they're there as well. So again, if you would like to, sit in the booth and help out and wear your badge and et cetera.
Water booth.
Oh, don't take.
And I have no weddings to attend this year, so I will be in attendance. Yeah. Okay, before we move away, let's keep it on. Okay, council presentation or updates from Councilor Yonda.
I do not know.
Okay, and anything from Councilor Bishop? Nope. Okay, we're gonna close that section out. We're gonna move on to the city administrator report out. We'll hand it back over to Administrator Wade.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. So I'll make this quick. The general fund is anticipated to come in approximately $358,000 under budget. This is a result of vacancy savings in the police department and underfilled positions being filled at a lower salary. The increase in expenditures in community development is a result of a payment to the Hop Festival for the city's sponsorship. And the professional services budget across several areas is way over budget. This is a direct result of legal support from the city attorney for Mill Springs property, relocation of Well 1, and various policy updates. Significant spend is occurring in the parks improvement, water construction, and ARPA funds as a result of the projects that are underway, such as the tennis courts and the water system upgrades. I have, let's see, an explanation for the nullification of supplemental 3 in my report, and I'd be happy to answer any questions on that. But just to wrap it up, a quick reminder, town hall tomorrow night, 6:30, and the first Movies in the Park is on June 20th at 9:30 p.m. in Barnsley Park. And that will conclude my quick update. Any questions?
Oh, yeah, town hall, be there, be square. Okay. With that, questions for Administrator Wade, Counselor Zion?
No questions this time. Thank you.
Counselor Stein?
What's the movie?
The never ending story.
Oh,
Last one.
Great movie.
Like our water installation lines. Okay, Counselor.
I have no questions, thank you.
Okay, Counselor Michelle?
No questions, thank you.
All right, with that, let's move on to the police department, Chief Parisi.
All right, thank you, Mayor, Council. Good evening to you all. I've got a pretty short report this evening. The biggest thing I wanted to highlight is Officer Montez's successful completion of field training and evaluation. Officer Montez is a very dedicated and professional individual who is a hard worker and very excited to be here. He is very committed to our communities, and he is just excited every day to come to work and has a can-do attitude, and it's just been a real joy to be around. So he worked very hard. He earned this, and I'm just happy to say he's on his own. He's solo. And so with that, we have Officer Yakis that's now started his field training as well. We've got him through the orientation phase already, and we also have another certifiable candidate who's been through the academy that's in background right now. So we're looking real good.
In a state with a mental health crisis, certifiable is a great. Okay, with that, real quick, I just want to point out a few things. Number one, I got to run into Officer Yakis and Sergeant Anderson at the graduation. They were like little celebrities there. The kids coming up saying hi to them, parents, teachers, etc. Again, that is amazing outreach that the community, our police department's done for North Marion. And knowing that our valuables in the cars were being secured, I'm sure the last couple of years, there's been no break-ins like it was the year before, or a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
With that also, the new stats you provided, I actually really appreciated. When it broke down to even the individual traffic stops, what people were being pulled over for. Again, it shows very closely that your department's not focused on revenue generation, but tickets alone. In fact, 10 traffic stops were actually double, and I think we're about the same in terms of trafficking, ticketing. The rest were, other violations, but still, it's a sobering statistic or stat to be able to look at and see the community policing to me is at least being taken to heart. So thank you.
Thank you.
Other comments though from the rest of the council, I'll start with, Councilor Michelle.
No, I mean, that was one thing that I had noticed too, was, almost 50% just given a warning. I think that's a nice thing to do. I know, I'm sure those drivers probably appreciate it. So, no, I don't have any other questions.
Councilor Donald.
No questions right now, thank you.
It looked like you were getting ready to have a whole list there.
No, I was, further off record.
All right, Councilor Stein.
I don't have any questions right now, thank you.
Councilor Zadi.
Only thing I'd like to add is that I've been commuting to McMinnville quite often, and it's really a sense of pride when I drive down there and see our cars with the names of both cities on there. Great job, Chief. Thank you.
I do have one thing that I would like to add. So I have asked Chief Parisi to share with council at a later date the success rate in closing cases. So they are doing amazing investigative work and closing cases and arresting the bad guys. So he'll be putting something together and sharing that with council at a later date. But
Yeah, with the inside knowledge on it, it's pretty cool. But I don't want to take your thunder.
The word team.
There you go. All right, administrative department, then we'll move over to Director Noel.
Okay, real quick, just a reminder about the joint work session next Tuesday night. We do have a public hearing at 6:30, and then it will follow, the joint session will follow that public hearing. I don't really have anything else to add to my report. The municipal court had a spike in citations as well as revenue. That will conclude my report, unless you have any questions.
I have none. Councilor Zadi.
No questions, thank you.
Councilor Steiner.
I just wanted to say thank you for offering us to come do a ride along on court day. I took the city up on it, came in, and watch the court and the way that you guys process things, and for being such a small cramped building, you really do shuffle things through very well. And also I was really admired the judge and just the way that she worked with everybody that was ticketed or cited for different things to try to give them ways to fix it and move forward versus just, we'll take your money and go on. She was very fair and understanding with everybody I watched throughout the day. So I just wanted to say thank you for letting us, just the reminder that we can come, see what you guys do, and then just seeing how well you do it. It was great to see. Thank you.
Thank you.
Positive.
Good job, Billy.
Good job, Billy.
Yeah. It's recorded too. Okay, Councilor Yonley,
Have no questions, thank you.
Councilor Michelle.
No questions.
Okay, with that, Public Works Department, I've excused Superintendent Oliver from the meeting. Her update's pretty straightforward in there. If you have any questions or concerns on her reported stats, just bring it up to administrative weight at this point in time. I do have some questions on the Public Works dashboard back here, but again, I can bring that up with you in the next one-on-one.
Okay, thank you.
So with that, before we close out the administrator report outside, is there any additional questions or discussion from council? And I'll just look for any hand raised on this one. If not, we're going to move right on to the consent agenda, and there's a lot to read here. So this is where I make sure Mrs. Moore from my third grade class is proud of me. With that, approval of minutes, May 13th, 2025 City Council and May 14th, 2025 Budget Committee. Approval of the May 2025 check register report. Resolution number 808-2025, a resolution amending compensation ranges for the represented and non-represented employees and repealing resolution number 788-2024. Resolution number 809-2025, a resolution authorizing an annual adjustment of systems development charges, amending resolution number 533-2012, and repealing resolution number 777-2024. Resolution number 810-2025, a resolution revising the transportation utility fee for the city of Hubbard and repealing resolution number 778-2025. Resolution number 811-2025, a resolution extending the city of Hubbard's worker compensation coverage to volunteers of the city of Hubbard and repealing resolution number 779-2024. Resolution 812-2025, a resolution approving the supplemental budget for the fiscal year 2024-25 budget. 8, resolution 813-2025, a resolution nullifying supplemental budget number 3 for the fiscal year 24-25 budget and repealing resolution number 804-2025. Resolution number 814-2025, resolution to close the sewer bond fund and transfer the balance to the general fund. Accept and authorize City Administrator Sean Wade to execute the contract for the Housing Infrastructure Support Fund grant from Oregon Business Development Department for $88,448. Accept and authorize Mayor Charles Roskosel to execute the intergovernmental agreement between Mid-Willamette Valley Council of Governments and the City of Hubbard.
Second that.
Good job in a second, okay. I make a motion that we approve consent agenda as read.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, all those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay, and consent agenda carries as read. With that, is there any other city business? If not, I'm gonna call for adjournment. I'll make a motion for adjournment.
I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
Or better yet, you can sit through it again.
Second.
We have a second to adjourn. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. Okay, we are adjourned. See you all in July. Actually, I'll see you all tomorrow.
Oh, goodness.